The most identity-obsessed progressives are upset that you reject obsessing over identity politics. Welcome to the Jason Rantz Show, presented by None Better Tax Resolution. Conservatives are derisively referring to Kamala Harris as the DEI candidate. And there's no doubt that it's insulting. It insinuates that she was only chosen for the boxes that she checks, mainly being black and female. It dismisses her accomplishments, which should obviously have nothing to do with her race or her gender. She'd be right to be upset. But she has her own identity-obsessed party to blame. Don't blame conservatives for calling VP Harris a DEI candidate. Blame her own White House, which released this statement when Joe Biden first took office. He literally said that DEI are literal core strengths of this country. And it starts at the top with Vice President Kamala Harris. He said he's proud to have the most diverse administration in history. Not the most qualified, not the best suited, but the most diverse. Meanwhile, no one can seem to name any of her accomplishments. They say she's accomplished. She's the most accomplished vice president in history. Okay, so name some of the accomplishments. Well, she was picked as vice president. Okay, that's not really the kind of accomplishments that we're talking about. Here's pollster Frank Luntz.
Can you name a single Harris accomplishment or result from the time that she was elected vice president? 3.5 years. Can you name just one? 70% cannot name any.
Now, I'm willing to bet the 30% who could name an accomplishment said she became vice president. You can't constantly refer to her being the first black female vice president, not name any of her accomplishments, and then get mad that people assume she was being anointed for being black and female. It's the same when you announce, as Joe Biden did, that you're going to appoint a black female Supreme Court justice. He didn't need to say that. He could have just picked Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson and said she was the most qualified, but he didn't. He said he's only looking at black women. He tokenized everyone, dismissing their qualifications and instead treated them as human props to signal his own virtue. Democrats bring this on themselves. And Naomi Ishizaki, could you please spare me your faux outrage? Ishizaki is Seattle's most bad faith columnist, and she's out with a whopper of a hot take in the Seattle Times titled, Kamala Harris, DEI, and the white men compelled to denigrate them both. Now, it's odd to hear Ishizaki complain about denigrating anyone, given most of her columns merely complain about dudes. Here's one. True Detective Night Country isn't about men. Can men handle that? Yeah, I did just fine. I like that show. Thanks. Why women prefer the bear in hashtag man versus bear. I mean, that's just stupid. But sure, men are more dangerous than wild bears. You go with that. Women will stop fearing men when men are less frightening. When will women like you stop obsessing over men? And for someone so frightened, boy, do you criticize them a lot. To stop violence, men, heal thyselves. Okay, well, to stop the DEI criticism, woke columnists, stop obsessing over identity. I sat down with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution.
Tell me a little bit about the Fresh Start program, because again, based on how it's promoted, it seems really, really simple.
This Fresh Start program and that phrase has been around for many, many, many years now. But it's a great marketing tool to say, hey, fresh start. And in a way, for those that qualify, it is. What it essentially is an offer in compromise. And to get that, there's two main criteria a person must qualify for. One, they must have limited or no equity in assets. So generally, anyone in the Puget Sound region that owns a home and has for several years, they're going to have a lot of equity. They won't qualify. And the other is an income level. And that all depends upon your family size about how much income that could be. But both of those standards need to be met to qualify. Most people do not.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967. Or Google NUNN, None Better Tax Resolution. Did you like that commentary? Make sure you subscribe to the podcast of The Jason Rantz Show. Get it at KTTH.com or wherever it is you download your podcasts.